Let's bring in Fox News contributor, former Miami Mayor Francis Suarez. I disagree with the vice president sometimes, but I agree with him wholeheartedly, Francis, on that statement that just pointing to Cuba or talking about Venezuela and saying, oh, can't you see how socialism doesn't work in messaging to younger people. So from the Republican perspective, what does? Is it, older Americans losing access to some of the Medicare that they get, having to pay a lot more money into it for what they receive? Is it the half of Americans who don't pay any net federal income tax paying more and a lot more? What is it? Or just giving up their freedom for control and handing it to the likes of somebody like El Sayed?
Well, when you think about making people's lives better, you have to go deeper, right, than just that statement, right? So when you think about what the president has done, he has done things that are very logical, like no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, right? Proposals like that actually do make people's lives better, that make people that are in those categories lives better because it brings their costs down. Let me tell you what will not make people's lives better. When you say things, which has become a very catchy slogan now in the Democratic Socialist mantra, and even at some level on the Democratic Party, right? We're going to have health care for all. Okay, well, let's break that down. Let's look at what are the costs of that. If you do some simple research, this is not complicated. The Congressional Budget Office has estimated that health care for all is going to cost between $1.5 and $3 trillion additional annually. What does that mean for the people who pay the lowest tax bracket, right? In the lowest tax bracket, you're going to see a double-digit increase in the lowest tax bracket. So if you say things like, well, we're just going to tax billionaires, well, let's unpack that. What does that mean? Well, there's only a little less than 1,000 billionaires in the United States. If you were to take billionaires' tax rate, the highest tax rate right now, the highest tax bracket is 37%. Let's say you double it, 72%, right? You take it from 37% to 72%. You're only going to generate $200 billion of revenue with that doubling of the marginal tax rate for billionaires. You're not going to come anywhere close to paying the $1.5 to $3 trillion that the Congressional Budget Office estimates the cost of Medicare for all or health care for all to be. So you got to get it from somewhere else. And you're going to have to get it from the 360 million other Americans who are here paying taxes. That's the part that Democratic Socialists never tell you. They don't want to tell you the truth.
Well, you're doing some math right there, and I appreciate that. Math is good. We should do math in public policy, but it strikes me Democrats, leftists don't want to do math. They typically avoid the math. They talk in terms of justice. So do Republicans need to speak that language? That seems to have appeal. Do we have to find a language that speaks to people and say, the math is true, that's right. Let me tell you why health insurance for all is in fact not just, but deeply unjust, Francis. Is that the language that Republicans have to find?
Yeah, I hear you, and I get the rhetorical part of the political debate and having to influence people. But I've said this before, sometimes being a Republican can be difficult, right? Because the message is to be successful and prosperous in this country, you got to work hard, you got to be disciplined, you got to make sacrifices. And sometimes that's not sort of popular rhetoric. I do think that pointing to examples of failed socialist systems does help because it should educate people on what are the consequences of some of these policies long term. And then to your point, I think you had a great lead in, Brian, when you talked about, some of these politicians, candidates, they look good, they sound good, they're very articulate, they're very smooth, but they never get into the nitty gritty, which is really where the rubber meets the road in terms of explaining whether or not these policies are actually going to benefit people or whether it's a fraud of some sort, right? If everybody in the United States paid for their own health care, for example, would it be cheaper than running it through government? Most of the time when you run through government, it's less efficient, it's less effective, and oftentimes it just doesn't even work.
Francis Suarez, great to see you. I'll just point out that what Schiff wants a more progressive tax code. So the top 1% in America, they have about 20% of the income, but they pay 40% of the federal taxes. So he wants them to pay more, and he wants welfare, essentially, for people like, the bottom 60, the bottom 70%. That's what he's saying. Thank you so much, Francis Suarez. Great to see you.
Thanks, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you.